a bit better. Now let's talk about asbestos now, 11 minutes past 7. I don't know what you think. What is your reaction when you hear about asbestos? For some, just the mere mention of the word, and alarm bells can ring. Well, a waste transfer station at South Hykeham near Lincoln applied for permission to start handling asbestos, and when it did, there were quite a few objections, people saying, no, we don't want this. Lincolnshire County Council approved the plan, but they said there's a number of conditions on it. There are lots of rules and regulations and things that you're going to have to adhere to. Well, some people are still not happy about this, and a group called Hykeham Anti-Asbestos are still trying to stop the development. BBC Radio Lincolnshire's Hope Bolger has put together this report.
Asbestos in itself is not necessarily a dangerous substance as long as it's handled properly, and there are procedures in place and regulations in place to ensure that both the transportation and handling of the asbestos on site will be done in accordance with the rules, and it should be as safe as it can possibly be.
County Councillor Eddie Pole is the executive member for Commercial and Environmental Management. He says there were no real reasons to refuse the plan.
Well, it has to be disposed of somewhere, and as I said, there was an existing site there that already had a hazardous waste licence, and it's just been an extension to that licence under the new planning permission.
This new building on the existing site will handle up to 10 tonnes of waste a day, seeing 75 vehicles coming in and out. Hykeham Anti-Asbestos was set up to fight this decision. Erick is on the committee.
We're worried about everything. Worried about health conditions because asbestos travel for miles and have heavy consequences. I'm worried about the fire cases that can come in. I'm worried about the traffic and the fact that this lane, the state of it is going to become worse because of the heavy good vehicles that will pass on it.
But it's not just these worries. Erick says there's been an enormous lack of information about the impact of the plan from Lincolnshire County Council. But Councillor Pole says the council has done what's required of it.
I guess you could always say we could always do more, but there's a limit to the amount of consultation we can do within the time and within the budget available. And I'm sure there will always be people who feel they should have been consulted who weren't. And all I can say is I'm sorry about that, but we can't consult everybody about everything.
What would you say to reassure residents that this is going to be safe?
There's no such thing as safe. It's as safe as it can be. I'm not saying there would never be an incident, and I can't guarantee that there will never be a problem. There is always something that can go wrong, and unfortunately, when it does, we just have to make sure that all the rules have been complied with. Everybody's done the best they can to keep it as safe as it possibly can be. And I'm sure that's the case with this plan.
3 local councils, North Hykeham Town Council, North Kesteven District Council and South Hykeham Parish Council all put in objections to the plan. How come you still went ahead?
Well, I think that all those objections were considered by the planning process, and there were no relevant material planning considerations of sufficient weight to outweigh the principle of granting this development, so it was approved.
Is this once again an example of the council not taking into consideration or listening to the community?
No, it's not that at all. As I said, all matters are taken into consideration, and the fact that it sounds dangerous, we don't want it. It's not the sort of thing that should happen here. They're not relevant material planning considerations, unfortunately. We followed due process. The decision was, in the opinion of the committee, the correct decision because of all the material relevant planning considerations that were put forward.
The next stage brings in the Environment Agency. They'll provide a permit for GBM to use the site only if the plans protect the environment and people's health. So for now, Hykeham Anti-Asbestos is hoping this permit will not be granted. And if it is, well, Erick says they still have a few ideas.
I don't think that any member of the community would like to give up. We will raise some more money to bring this to judicial review, and we hope that this time democracy is going to be respected and the people of North Hykeham is going to be heard, finally.
Views there from some people in that area about that centre there, which has caused controversy with that application to handle asbestos. Hope Bolger putting that report together. We did ask the company involved who put in the application to comment, but they declined. We will talk to someone who does this, though, who knows about the whys and wherefores of how to handle and how to dispose of asbestos after 8 o'clock this morning here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire.